What's up, guys? Tactical Turkey here. So today I thought we would take a good in-depth look at the Noreen 50 BMG. I've been down the YouTube rabbit hole a few times and I've not seen a whole lot on the new 2.0s, so let's take a look. So here she is in all her glory. At first glance, you will notice adjustable length pull, adjustable comb height, and it's actually very comfortable once you get it set to where you want. I absolutely love how comfortable this gun is to get on. Single shot. I'll show you how that works in a minute. This one does have the heavy 34-inch barrel. So this gun itself is tipping the scales at well over 30 pounds. Alright, so now that I've had a range day and got a base zero with this rifle and had some experience and actually got to take it out and run some rounds through it and heat the barrel up, one of the first things that I notice is how tight all of these tolerances are. This bolt, it's stiff, it's tight. To me, that's a good thing. Every single tolerance on this weapon is super tight. So you can see that's how this works. Bolt pulls out, you slide your round in the bolt. This has got a nice little cutout back here. Slide your round in, right in the right spot because it's super tight. Lock it down. There is no safety, which is probably my only and biggest complaint at this point, is that this rifle does not have a trigger safety. So the optic that I have on here is probably not going to be on here for forever. This is the Discovery optic that we got. It was sent to us by Discovery. It's been in previous videos. They basically sent me this scope to do some review material with, and I thought, hey, I've still got it here. Let's put it on a 50 BMG and see if it lives. And guys, I'm here to tell you, so far, it's an MRAD scope, and it's tracking true. I was able to zero with this thing, and we shot out to 200 yards with it, and it's holding up flawlessly. That is their, I believe, Gen 2, and it is a 34 millimeter tube, 56 millimeter objective lens. It's a pretty decent scope for what it is. At one time, you could use my name, Turkey 530 was the discount code at their Amazon store. And you could get these at one time using my discount code for around 226 bucks. And if you compare this side by side with an Arkin, it is very, very close. It almost looks like a direct copy of an Arkin. And probably not too far off performance-wise either. I've got one of the big Arkins on my PRC rifle, and it seems very, very similar. Nice audible clicks, tracks perfectly, glass is good and clear, so nothing bad to say about that scope. It's holding this 50 BMG quite well. One thing you'll notice that has changed since the original video, I put a riser block under it. The scope cover right here was touching the top of that rail. The scope itself wasn't, but the bottom of this scope cover right here was. So shout out to my buddy Travis Kimbrell there at US Pawn and Surplus in Clarksville. Stopped by there, he hooked me up with that riser block to pick this thing up just a little bit, get it up and away from the bottom of that rail. One of the other things that stands out is this massive muzzle brake, and it really, really does its job. This gun, it's big and it's scary looking, and it's a 50 BMG, but the recoil from this thing is really nothing. That muzzle brake is tuned to perfection from the factory. Here's a better look at the other side. You can see our Discovery optic. It's got the side focus parallax. It is the Gen 2 5x30x56. It is a first focal plane. And those are the Discovery, the heavy mounts, they call it. And those are just medium height. Not quite tall enough for this application, so we got that riser block on now. The rifle was very easy to zero. I just pulled the bolt out and bore sighted it that way at 50 yards. looked at the target, adjusted the scope, and it was dead center and maybe 8 inches high first shot. So all I had to do was just adjust her down a little bit, and then we got to start shooting and tearing up some water jugs and that kind of stuff with it. That is on the other video. This is merely just a first look, first thoughts, first impression. I'll go ahead and pull this empty shell casing back out. And that's starting to loosen up now that it's had probably 20 rounds through it. It's really, really tight, but it's starting to get a little bit more user-friendly now. This we've actually got out and get some heat through it. The book does recommend to keep some grease and stuff on these lugs, just to kind of make it float together just a little bit better. Another thing that I want to touch on, since I've not really seen a whole lot of these rifles or much of Noreen on YouTube, there is some, but not much, is their customer service. And what I mean by that, I had to reach out to them. When I first started making this video earlier today, let's see if I can switch this around here and kind of show you. One thing that I noticed, and it was a big safety concern, with the bolt in, I could wiggle that bolt after locking it down into the firing position, and like I said, there's no safety. I could jerk that bolt one way or the other and it would drop that trigger. Well, that's bad news on a 22 or a 17 or anything like that. This is a 50 BMG, and be able to rock that thing and get it to fire, that's bad news. So I reached out directly to Noreen, called the phone number, hit a couple of buttons, got to talk to a guy, and he basically told me the email and everything to the gunsmith and sent him a message. He reached back out, wouldn't no time, said, yep, that's an issue. The only thing that could cause that would be that trigger is set too light from factory. Now this weapon does have the Timney adjustable trigger, so he sent me some literature and whatnot, and basically told me what screw to adjust, so I had to pull the entire weapon apart. It was really fairly straightforward. There's 4 bolts along the bottom, 1 bolt here, and then there's 2 bolts here and 2 bolts there. And this hand guard slides forward, and that allows the action to come out of the lower. And then the trigger's out in the open. It was the very bottom screw, was the sear engagement screw, and it was backed way out. It looked like it was out of spec from what the rest of them look like. So I just loosened the lock nut, gave that a couple of turns in, locked it back down, and I have not been able to recreate that issue. So it's 100% fixed. But like I said, I can't say enough good about the customer service for those guys. Braden, I believe, is the one that I talked to, and he put me in touch with the right people. Guys, if y'all are watching this, thank you very much. I appreciate that. They did offer to let me send the gun back to them and let them put it on the bench and look at it and adjust it and everything. But luckily, I'm no gunsmith, but luckily I've got enough sense to be able to pull this thing apart and figure it out with the literature that he sent me. So kudos to them for customer service. That's one thing to me that's a big selling point, is if you do have an issue of some kind, can you get a hold of someone and get it resolved? And to be able to speak directly with a gunsmith or a technician or something, that's awesome. So can't say enough good there. Got the problem fixed. No more safety issues. I have tried and tried and tried. I have jerked on this thing up, down, sideways, and I cannot get that trigger to engage anymore. So I feel confident that it's fixed, because it was very easy to get it to do it before. Once I discovered it would do it, just locking that bolt down, rocking it back and forth and up and down a little bit, and 9 times out of 10 that trigger would click. So luckily, like I said, reached out to them. Awesome customer service. Can't say enough good about that. It's an excellent weapon. Very accurate. Shoots well for a big gun. And like I said, I can't say enough good about it or Noreen firearms. So with all that being said, guys, if you're in the market for a 50 BMG and you're like me, I'm just a poor Arkansas poultry farmer, and you don't have $12,000 to shell out for a Barrett 107, look at one of these, man. Thoroughly impressed with the build quality on this gun. Super heavy, super well built, and Noreen really stands behind what they sell. They're really proud of their products. Can't say enough good about them or the weapon. And I highly recommend it if you're looking to get into a big bore rifle on a budget, kind of like me. I think I'm in this thing for a little bit less than 3. So, yeah, a lot of fun times to come. So if you're looking for a good video of the Noreen ULR 2.0 50 BMG, hopefully I've answered some of the questions that you may have. Kind of like what I was looking whenever I was considering purchasing one of these. I couldn't find a whole lot of content with them. Still fairly new on the market. But overall, it's an absolute solid performer. I absolutely love this gun. Pictures and videos do this thing no justice. It's an absolute behemoth in person. Like I said, I got the 34-inch barrel. If I'm going to get a big gun, I wanted the big gun, so I got the big version. They definitely make them shorter and a little bit easier to tote. Like I said, this one is tipping the scales probably around 35 pounds with everything on it, between 35 and 36, 37 pounds. So it's heavy. It's not something you're going to tote around up and down tree stands or something. You're definitely going to have a solid platform or on the ground to be able to hunt with it, which I do plan to do. I am going to do some hunting with this rifle, and there will be some content based on that. So for right now, guys, I'm going to sign off here. I hope this was informative to anybody that may be looking at the Noreen ULR 2.0. If I didn't go over something that you wanted to see or have a question about, reach out to me. Drop me a comment down below, and I will see if I can get your questions answered. Or none the least, reach out to Noreen. Those guys over there would be happy to help you. Absolutely awesome customer support base. So with that being said, guys, I am Tactical Turkey. I'm going to sign off here, and we will see you guys later.